Hi everybody, I'm Daniel Jangula. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Tips from the Trainer. I've got Jen here today to help demonstrate some techniques that we're going to be going through for a good upper body warm-up. Basically, with healthy shoulder movement, we want the scapula or our shoulder blade and the humerus or our upper arm bone kind of coupled as we move. So as we reach overhead, we should have that scapula kind of reaching up and around to kind of guide and keep that shoulder stable. So what we're going to be doing is activating a group of muscles called Serratus Anterior. It runs from the medial aspect of your shoulder blade underneath and then inserts into your ribs. So what that does when it fires up is it protracts, so it moves it away from the midline and kind of in towards the armpit. Also, there's going to be an element of upward rotation, so it's kind of coming up, so as we're reaching overhead, again, everything's kind of tightly coupled. So if you're doing any pressing movements, any bench press or any overhead work, it's a really great way to kind of get things fired up so that your shoulders are feeling nice and secure and stable and happy and healthy for when you're moving some serious weight here. So what we're going to do to start off, Jen's going to take a foam roller, place it at shoulder height, and pin that between her wrists and the wall, okay? She's also going to have her palms turned kind of towards each other, or the thumbs are turned out, and then she's also going to kind of externally rotate so that her elbows are more narrow than her wrists are. From there, she'll take a staggered stance so her weight's distributed, tighten her core so that she's not arching up, and from there, she's just going to press into the roller as she brings her arms upwards. Okay, so you can demonstrate a few reps for that. She's going to apply as much pressure as she can comfortably throughout that range of motion. She's going to get as high up as she can. It doesn't matter if she gets all the way into full overhead extension. So what we're trying to cue here, if we look at a shoulder blade, is it starts off going in towards the armpit and kind of upwards along with that arm movement there, and then back down, okay? So what we really want to make sure she's not doing is having her upper traps dominate the movement, right? We want more of a swoop and not a shrug with that kind of thing, okay? So for people that might have really limited range of motion in their shoulders, what they can do is go a little bit wider with their arms, so that way at the top they're maybe only at about 135 degrees of flexion instead of the full 180 there, okay? It's kind of a tough muscle to activate. It's not like your bicep or your glutes where it's really obvious that you're getting a hard contraction. It's a small, kind of subtle muscle, but keep at it again, applying pressure throughout that range, especially towards the top. You should start to feel something kind of deep to your lat. Now, once you got the hang of that, actually before I move on, you're gonna be doing about 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps, just ingraining more volume in the activation than actually really trying to load it up. But once you feel like you got that in place and you feel like you got good awareness of that muscle group, we can start to load it up a little bit more. So what we're going to do is kind of a push-up variation into a downward dog. So we'll get Jen to demonstrate that. Just to start off, you can go right from the top of a push-up and then all the way up into a downward dog. So again, we have that same movement of that shoulder blade, right? A little bit of protraction and upwards rotation, kind of gliding into the armpit. Okay, once she's good with that, we can get her to do a full-length push-up and then into the downward dog. Now, as she comes back into the top of a push-up, one cue that we want to watch for is making sure that her shoulder blades aren't winging, right? I can almost like stick my fingers underneath there. So what she's going to do is kind of push into the ground there. And again, the objective with all this movement is to keep that shoulder blade gliding snug along the rib cage so that everything's nice and stable for when we're moving any weight. So that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Give this a shot before your workouts and see how your shoulders feel afterwards.